Haneen says, when receiving, do you pick or choose who to receive from?
And actually, I'm just going to officially start the recording.
Sure.
So anybody who's listening, welcome. And Ashley, I'll hand it back over to you.
So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here for Christel's Talk to the Entities free gift Zoom. We're so grateful to have you all. So this call is for you. So feel free to ask as many questions as you desire. And really any question you have around entities. You might have done Access Consciousness specialty class, a Talk to the Entity specialty class, and you might not have. You might be just diving into the topic of entities. So I'm going to hand it over to Christel, but feel free to unmute yourself.
Cool. Well, welcome you guys. And I am like thrilled, beyond thrilled that you guys are here and that we're having this conversation and that this conversation even exists in the world. This is a conversation and a topic and a body of work that I avoided solidly for probably billions of years, but in this lifetime, definitely 7. While having an intense capacity with it at the same time. And the thing about when you have a capacity with something and you ignore it, it hurts you. So things like your head hurts and your body hurts and your feelings hurt and you have moods and you can't see well. So it shows, entity awareness shows up as all kinds of different things. And when you have a backlog of activity, which most of us do because we have not fully consciously actively engaged with the spirit world, you know, it can be even more painful. And so I'm excited to go and delve into and create and have a world that includes all beings, that includes us and everything we're capable of and everything the beings can contribute and be and everything, all the gifts that we can be for them, etc. And it's a big topic and we've got, you're so welcome, Susan. There's lots of you on, there's lots of you live. And so I would really encourage you, like I do with all my classes, free or paid, to make this call your bitch and ask everything that you came to ask for, get out of it, everything you want. This won't be as formal as the intro class that we'll be doing in February. We will have 2 intro classes. They're 2 hours long each. And you can do just the intro class, or you can do an intro and a beginning together. And we've got 2, one on North American time zone and European friendly time, and then one really Australian and sort of India time friendly for me, so that I can also be awake, but accommodate when you guys are awake as well. So where should we start? Ashley, did you have, I see questions in the chat. Did you have anything that you wanted to sort of?
My, very much like Haneen, was really talking about receiving from entities, because I think that's one area that most of us, I mean, clearing entities handles, you know, 80-90% of really what we can actually choose with entities. And also most people, including myself, often forget just what we can receive from them and what they desire to contribute to us. So I really love that question from Haneen, when receiving, do you pick or choose who to receive from or what to receive? So what if we started there?
Yeah, cool. Well, to give you a sense, receiving is a big conversation and it's very unique to Access. I mean, it might be talked about in other ways outside of Access, but it was really Access that introduced me to the topic and what started out as a concept of receiving. It turns out receiving is a true. It's a piece of true. It's what it is. It's what it takes to actually be all of you, is to receive everything with no point of view. But what most of us have been shown to do is to receive exclusively, or to receive only certain things, only certain energies. One area you see this very actively is like with sexuality, for example. It's like if I'm a straight woman, I only receive from men, and I only receive from men that aren't married. And so we do this very actively, like with sexuality, and it's easy to see there. But we do it everywhere else too. It's like when it comes to receiving money, are you willing to receive money from just anywhere? Are you willing to receive it from any direction, from anybody, from any lifetime, from any being, from anybody? Or do you have caveats on it? I'll receive money if it's not this, and if I don't have to do this, and that is what chops up and makes everything harder. Consciousness includes everything. It doesn't judge anything. We aren't taught to function as a conscious being. We're taught to function as a finite being that has judgments and limitations and all these hard things, structural things in place. And so we grow up getting really good at judging who to receive from and who not to receive from. This is a good person. This is a bad person. This is a, you know, and we just do it. And then after a while, it just becomes rote. So this topic of receiving is a big one because we have been so conditioned to not receive. On top of that, as humanoids, we judge ourselves. So receiving ourselves is like a non-reality. What does that even mean? Like, we are innately wrong. Doesn't everybody know that? And we go around our life proving how wrong we are, looking for where we're wrong, trying to find where we're wrong, trying to fix where we're wrong. So receiving ourselves is like, what is that even? You know? So it's a big, huge topic. It's a big thing that actually I didn't even really start going after mastering myself until the last 2 years. And it was the topic of receiving that actually like pulled me kicking and screaming into Talk to the Entities, interestingly, because I was challenged by Shannon O'Hara, who's the creator of this body of work, to master receiving. She's had a conversation with me in some class, and I probably thought something was relevant to me. I said, asked about it. And she's like, honey, you don't have a problem with doing. The conversation, I guess, was around doing. Do I need to do more? She's like, you, my lady, need to master receiving. And so I went after that. I was like, what is that? What does this even mean? Like, do I like scrunch my face and receive really hard? Like, I really like, what is receiving? And so to answer your question, in a short way, Haneen, it's no, you don't pick and choose when receiving. True receiving is receiving everything without a point of view. But how much of your receiving do you cut off? How much do you not want to be aware of? For a really, 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 really long time, I didn't want to know that my family were judgmental and critical and mean. They're my family, and so I'm wrong, and that's why they're judgmental and critical and mean. So I didn't want to know that a lot of the ugly in the world, including in the people that supposedly cared about me the most, was there. And so I picked and chose based on that. I also didn't have a world that included all beings. I didn't. I heard about entities. I heard them mentioned. I used the clearing statement just enough to have some ease, but fully receiving from all the activity that was around me, like was not relevant. Why would I do that? I have so many other things to do. I've got a business to build. I've got, happiness to go after. Receiving from all beings. What does that have to do with anything? But that is what receiving is. Receiving is receiving everything. And what I love about this particular specialty is it opens up the conversation so far out into the universe and in the inclusion of everything, unseen and unseen. All the unseen gets included now, that what you end up receiving is more of you. It's this sort of backwards process where once you include everything that you haven't included before, what you end up getting is more of you. And that is the thing that for me continues to widen the appreciation and the gratitude I have for this conversation and this reality. When you can include all beings includes you. And so how much have you excluded you? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, homeland, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what have you been refusing? Who and what have you been refusing to receive? That if you would receive them, would allow you to receive you. And everything that brings up times a godzillion, can we destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, if you guys are new to Access, that's the clearing statement, that crazy thing. And you can go to theclearingstatement.com and get more information if you need it. Send me a message if you're super confused. But it just acts as a magic wand. We bring up all this energy and then we're like, never mind. And it just works. Cool. Any more on that anybody wants to? Ava, Ashley, you guys are both so good at like bouncing the conversation. And anybody else? Does anybody have any questions? I could talk until space starts.
Thank you for this conversation. Ava, you can go. We're going to talk over one another. So yeah, thank you for this conversation because it's not something we're taught. We are taught in this reality to put up barriers and
Yeah.
to protect ourselves from, negative energies and judgment. And we don't realize that what that does is stops us from receiving everything and
Yeah.
anything with ease. So we're not taught to include the spirit world. And I had no idea about, the spirit world. I knew that what this reality called were ghosts. I knew there were spirits. I knew that what I was a spirit. And I didn't know that I could actually receive from them. And it's very interesting because once I realized that, I mean, you can receive money from entities if you're willing. So
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, I keep getting pulled to Carol's question, which there's no elegant segue to it, but I'm just going to jump there. And Carol's asking, can we clear entities from our children, or do they have to clear them? And the answer is, you can clear entities from anybody, including you, including other people. What I'll say about that is, if the people that you cleared them from want them back, they'll be back. Because guess what? Entities don't hold on to us, we hold on to them. So even including your children, you can clear them from your children, and if they want them back, they'll come back. And it's just as simple as that. There's also such a thing as being a portal, which we won't get into here, but I'll just mention it as something you can be intrigued by. There's being an enforced portal, which means that, you've got entity activity going on all the time. And when you have, or anyone has or is housing or entertaining a lot of entities in their body, for whatever the reason, the thing you're never going to have access to is your awareness. You're always going to get mixed awareness when you ask things. So when you ask, truth, body, this or that, and it's like a committee, there's a lot of entities in there, right? They could be original occupants. You could be a portal, you could be a multiple occupancy hotel, you could just have a lot of beings in your body, and there's no name for that. It could be anything, but what you can know is that it's not just you in there. And that was a huge piece of freedom for me. I was what we call a walk-in. And again, probably not something we can get into in this, but just get that there's something called a walk-in. And what that means is that at some point you walked into the body. We weren't born in it. You didn't come in as a baby, you walked in. And when you do that, you have original occupants in there with you. You have other beings that have run your body. I'm opening a can of worms with this topic, I know, but other beings that have run your body for the period of time that you weren't running it. And they're still in there with you. And now you're the dominant entity, but there's other ones in there. And when I got to my first foundation class and they asked me, truth, are you a walk-in? And I was like, what? Yes, what does that even mean? And, well, how many other original occupants are in there with you? And I got the number 8 just popped into my head. And then we cleared them. Things were different. I had those beings with me for almost 40 years. And so as I started to clear original occupants, I started to get more clear. I started to have more space to actually have my awareness and my reality. And I wasn't living from and as somebody else's reality through my body. So, control, out of definition, out of limitation, out of form, structure, and significance, out of linearity, and out of consequences with money, abundance, and hideous wealth. I revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce everything I aligned and agreed with and resisted and reacted to that doesn't allow any and all of that to exist and destroy and uncreate it utterly. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nature, it's poison beyond. Anyway, that's the loop I'm playing right now. Apparently just decided to turn up. So stuff like that happens too. Like, things turn up, things move. It's not as common for entities to it takes a lot of energy for an entity to move something in the physical world. Like if that wasn't it, to turn the phone up or move what, like the other day, last week, my partner's dad died. And so there was a whole story around that. But we had a couple of instances where there was a spoon that moved and it was like vibrating on another thing. On its own, and then a glass of water moved across, so that can happen, but it takes them a lot of energy. So anyway, that was just funny. That's an out of control clearing, by the way. Also funny. Okay, so what would it take to be willing to be out of control, out of definition, out of linearity, out of concentricity, out of form, structure, and significance, and out of linearity with the spirit world and your abilities with it for all eternity? And everything that doesn't allow it, times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all land, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, Susan, did you want to ask your question? I have a question about entities when people die.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, honey.
Hey, you got me when you talked about how you cleared your partner's fathers. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. That was like, wow. And I live with my 95-year-old mother who's in the process of actively dying. And I get that. I've always gotten that there's like two, like my grandmother died in this house and my father died in this house. And my door in my room is like opens and opens.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like sensing somebody's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what I want to know is what happens when people die to the entities. And and you got me too when you talked about being a walk-in, but let's stop there.
Yeah. Well, there's different things that go on. I mean, the thing to really get is that there's a couple things about death that I think are important to know. One, death is what's called a distractor implant. And the only reason that's a relevant conversation for an entity class is that death is made really, really significant. And it's made very mystical and very wrong and very sad. Like there's just a lot of heaviness around the topic. And it's just important to recognize that. One of the things, as my partner went through the death of his dad last week, so it's been a full week of, just watching him navigate that and being here with him and watching him go in and out of, his body crying because misses his dad. But interestingly, his dad's body's been far away for a long time. His dad's body's been in another country. So, but there's just this hit of like, I'm not going to see my dad's body again, so there was that. But you could also tell when he would go into a very, very heavy sadness. Now, when something's heavy, it's not true. When it's got a lot of space to it, even if there's tears, that's just transformation. That's release. That's thunderstorm, right? And the thing with death is that it's been made so significant and we've attached so much to it that when it occurs, we don't actually give ourselves or the other being who's transitioned into a different form, the honoring that is possible. So it's like the first thing I really want to talk about is everything you've already decided, judged, computed, or concluded, and everything you've aligned and agreed with or resisted and reacted to that holds the distractor implant of death in place. Can we now revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and create all that times a godzillion? Wow, cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, online, shorts, boys, and mans. So I think especially when you are navigating an important person in your life, moving on, transitioning at some point or dying in front of you, because that's true too. It's really, really important to remember that what's true for you is going to be light and spacious, and what's heavy is not true. And really not, so piece number one. And then piece number two is like, there are going to be those tears of release and transformation. But the thing about tears and release and transformation is they are thunderstormish. They come, they pour, and then they're done. And then they come and they pour, and then they're done. And then but if you're crying and crying and crying, then there's something else going on. You're stuck in a lie. And it's important, like that. I just want you guys to have that freedom because, there's a lot, man, we've got a lot going on in the world right now. And what else is possible? That's piece number one. Piece number two is that there's multiple things that occur when we die. So entities exist because they have choice. Entities exist because they die and they get stuck in a time loop and they don't know that they died. Entities exist because they had a traumatic event, didn't know. A lot of it's they didn't know that they die and they get stuck. And then there's other beings that leave their body and they hang around to contribute. And then there's other beings that leave their body and then go on and find another body. So there's a lot of different scenarios. And then there's other beings that hang around because they don't want to be a contribution and they want to take and they want to use and they want to cause trouble. And there's the same variety in the entity world as there is in the people world. So, you've got the Trumps and the ghost land too. So there's a lot of things that go on. And it's just being willing to honor that other person's choice and be with. And, so we'd have to look at, Susan, what's your question after that, when it comes to.
I guess my question is do I do I have entities like in my house, and how can they contribute to me? Or how can I have them communicate and contribute to them, and have them come and help me? Like I've even asked my dad to, okay, Dad, you got to help me with this. I can't, and I'm just making it up. And
yeah. Well, one thing I think is important to know is that contribution and help are two different things. And when you do, you got to help me, I can't do this, you actually open the door to more entities. Fun facts. So the first thing you may want to wake up and do every day as a practice, and this is something we encourage, even like from the beginning class, we talk about setting up office hours. But what I really mean by that is like every day consciously dealing with entity activity. So if you've done a lot of help, I can't handle this, I need help, then you probably have a lot of entities hanging around and hanging around in your body and whatnot. I did a lot of that before. I was very suicidal. I gave up a number of times. I wanted to die, man. Signs went up over my head all the time of like, free body, because I was done with this body. This was not fun for me. So, there was a lot that I had going on. So Susan, it may just be worth every morning waking up and just dealing with the entity activity. 80% of entity activity, no matter what it is dealt with the entity clearing. And that just goes like, truth, who are you? Truth, who were you before that? 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 Truth, what's your job? Truth, what was your job before that? Truth, what was your job before that? Truth, what was your job before that? And truth, who will you be in the future? You can take all your magnetic imprinting and you can go now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay. So I would make that a practice personally, because you got a lot of stuff going on and that might just make your life easier. The conversation of, how can they contribute to me is not really something we can totally get into here, but just getting that everything can contribute. All things contribute if you allow them to. Everything, every molecule of everything in your house and every unseen being, everything can be a contribution. Everything is a contribution if you're willing to receive it that way, including mean people, including insane people, including all the things that we think are wrong and bad. Yeah, go ahead.
How can my family be a contribution to me?
Good question. What would it take to receive them?
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, I wonder what it would take for you to be willing to receive exactly what it is that they are, instead of needing them to be different.
Right.
That's when things are truly a contribution, is when you just can receive everything that it is, because you get all the information, you get all the energy, you have all the information so you can make choices with it. It's when we project and expect that something should be different that it can't be any longer a gift to us, because we are so busy judging it.
Oh, and yeah, and the whole piece of judgment, like I'm here and they're not here, and I feel like they're judging the frick out of,
Well, they probably are, but who cares?
And I'm judging myself too. It's like
how's it get better? Well, it's just getting that, somebody asked in the very beginning, like, do you pick and choose who you receive from? Like, do you stop receiving from people that do judgment? And if you do, cool. Then you can't receive you when you do judgment. And how often do you do judgment of you? Like more than a little bit, judgment, we're humanoid. If you don't know what a humanoid is, you can just check in and see, do you judge other people first or do you judge you first? If you judge you first in almost every scenario, you're a humanoid. You get bored very easily. You need 2,800 things going on at the same time, and you've been made wrong for that your whole life. You don't fit, and that's the gift of you, but that's not how you felt. You have felt like an intensely terrible misfit. That's how you know. Humans judge everybody else. They know they're right. There's no question. You always question how you're wrong. How did I fuck up this time? What can I do better? I'm sure I was wrong. And you go into trying to figure out how that other person is right about how you're wrong. Right? That's a humanoid affliction. That's our natural sort of automatic choice. And So all the tools in access consciousness are to empower you to have another choice, because that choice is hard on you. You know, that choice of judging yourself all the time is really hard. So, you know, what practice? I did a show this last week on the deliberate practice of consciousness. What deliberate practice can you instill into your world to empower yourself into something else rather than judging you constantly? And when we talk about entities, the deliberate practice is really getting, number one, they exist. They ain't going anywhere. We can clear them. Do you know how many people die every day? It's like this crazy number. Like, it's like 250,000, but I think that's even not right. That's something like 250,000 a minute or something. It's crazy. The turnover on this planet is insane. So, you know, it's like, I just want to get rid of them. Is that receiving or something else? Being with what it is, and then being the clearing and downloading from them and receiving and communicating if that's required. And, you know, that's a different reality. That's a reality that includes everybody, including you. And it allows you to function as what you are. You just can just ask yourself, truth, do I have a capacity with entities? Yes or no? If you get yes, and you haven't necessarily been functioning as that, you've had it, but you haven't been functioning as that, then the practice is like, what is this lost art of spirit work for me? Do I just want the pain to go away, or am I willing to be a bigger gift than that? Cool. All right. So, Four. How do I say your name? Your name is so cool.
Four, it's just four. My first name is Kira.
Beautiful. Are you where are you? Are you in Ireland, Scotland?
I'm in France, but I'm Irish.
So close. Awesome. Well, your name is gorgeous. So you said, here, let me read this. I experience a lot of blurry vision. Well, do you want to ask your question since you're unmuted?
Sure. Well, it's been going on for over a year now. It's quite varied. Yeah. I've had issues with portals, blurry vision, an awful lot of pain, lots and lots of pain, usually the right side of the body. I have done quite a few classes when I've been in foundation classes. I know I've been resisting a lot, which has caused an awful lot of pain. So I've been working on control, and I've been doing the loops. I've been doing your awareness challenge as well.
Yeah.
And recently there's been an awful lot of activity, messages coming to do with elementals, which is also causing an awful lot of pain. But I just don't know what tools anymore to use at a rate that's extensive enough to stop not receiving or stop blocking. I mean, the first introduction class I did, I was paralyzed from the head down completely. Kalpana spent 20 minutes trying to get me to move again. And I just don't know what I'm doing that's stopping me from opening up.
Well, I'm writing a book on pain right now. No, that's not funny, but it's kind of funny. I mean, the timing is funny. Pain is always a power you're avoiding. Now, that is just something to sort of sit with, because I can't speak to your level of pain or, you know, what it is you've gone through or any of that, right? You know that. But if even when I say that, you get pissed, that's your thing.
Not anymore. I'm not.
But I'm just saying, like, so I guess the thing that I would look at, honestly, is like, truth, is there any power that you're avoiding? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. That's it. That's what you have to know. We don't know what that power is. We don't know, just that it is. Okay. And that right there, that's kind of a bitch. Like, sitting with that's kind of a bitch, because you want to go into, well, what the fuck, I've done everything. Like, you want to kind of go into that other, I do sometimes want to do that anyway. You're maybe a bigger person than me. Sometimes I'm like,
no, it's just, okay, it's there. I know it's there. I don't know what it is. That's okay.
That right there, that right there, that right there. You keep telling yourself you don't know what it is. So it's right there that you're disempowering yourself. That's the lie. It's never true that we don't know. It is true that we have not fully explored or fully been willing to know or fully driven so deep into our power that we have no idea what it is, that we've actually created a transformation. That's true. But it's not true that you don't know. And when you perpetrate I don't know on yourself, you hold everything in place.
Okay, hence the resistance.
Exactly. And that's why I say this is a bit of a bitch, because there's a power that you are that you haven't chosen yet, but thankfully you've got paint. It's pulling you on. So what are you? So it's just, yeah, this. I would sit with, okay, so I'm avoiding a power. Universe, show me. And if I were willing to be all of me, have all of me, perceive everything and receive everything, what would be possible? Okay. And let that unravel you.
Constantly, 30 times a day, 30 days.
Yeah.
Going at that one.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Go after that power you are. Find out. Don't give up, because you are the lock or the key for something that all of us require.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Deb Stilson. Hey, Deb, do you want to unmute yourself and ask?
I forgot what I asked.
Did it change? Do you have another question? It can change. It's fine.
Yeah, well, actually, this is quite interesting, and it's really bringing up a lot. I suffer from carpal tunnel. It's the only thing I haven't been able to release. I worked at a funeral home for 30 years, and I retired 7 years ago. They talked to me all the time, the entities did, but I was made wrong by my church that I was attending at that time. No, don't do this. You know, it's devil worshiping and da, 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 da. And that is when
did we go to the same church?
No, I dropped the church. I don't do religion anymore. Thank you.
I'm just saying.
But that is when the pain started.
Oh, interesting. So did you buy one of their points of view or all of them?
I did, but I don't believe them anymore. I believe that
that's not what I asked you, my lady. I asked if you bought them, not if you believe them.
Oh, I must have.
There's a difference. And, you know, if you guys end up coming to class with me, this is my style of facilitation. Because what we're doing with ourselves when we can't change something, when you can't change something, when you've got, then there's something that you've stopped at. There's a point of view that you've stopped at that seems true and real. Like it's like, for example, the conversation that I had with Fora is like, she was saying, I don't know. I can pick up on what that is from here because I'm sitting outside of her, but that's exactly where she was fucking herself with the I don't know.
Yeah.
So when you can't, so it's like, that's when it started right there. This is when this thing started. Okay, cool. Did you at that moment decide something, yes or no?
Yeah, but I don't know what.
That's okay. And I would gift yourself the awareness that's uncomfortable, which is yes. Because what's that's going to do when you sit with that and you don't justify it or try to defend it or anything is it's going to start to unravel naturally the unconsciousness that was chosen in that moment. And it's going to start to unlock awareness. Yeah. When you have to defend it and go, yeah, but I don't know what, that's not relevant. It doesn't matter. Really, any decision will stop energy. Yeah. So first thing we can play with is all the decisions, judgments, computations, and conclusions that you made in that moment that are holding any and all of that in place. Will you destroy and create all that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all name, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Cool. Yeah. So here's where I would live though. So there's that. So you made a decision. Okay, cool. We destroyed it and created it. Great. Now you created this thing. Your body's doing a thing. Pain is a power you're avoiding. So truth, is there any power that you're avoiding? Yes or no?
Yes.
Cool. That is what you need access to. Okay. That's what I would ask the universe about.
So what question should I be asking? Because that's the only thing I haven't.
Universe, show me what power I'm avoiding.
Okay. Okay.
Keep it really, really simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. And am I the other thing I really look at with pain, any pain, is truth. I have to ask myself truth because I'll lie to myself so quick. You guys never lie to yourselves, do you? It's just me. So truth, am I willing for this to change? Yes or no? Now, I'm surprised always at how many times that's a no. But then I get to sit with that and go, okay, cool. I'm not actually willing for this to change. Okay, interesting. Cool. So what is this gifting me that I'm not looking at? And it doesn't matter what the pain is. Lots of times pain is awareness of the spirit world. Many times. Many other times it's awareness of the earth. Many other times it's simply a power you're avoiding, resisting, not choosing. It's, so it can be a number of things. And it's really important with anything you've got going on to function from the 4 questions, which is, what is this? What can I do with it? Can I change it? And if so, how? But yeah, I don't know where I was going.
Is it better to ask these questions when because I'm going to be going to have my bars run in a few weeks. Is that help to ask the questions during bars running? Or?
You can do that, but you can start now if you want. It's kind of like waiting for the book to come in from Amazon or just downloading it from Kindle right now.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Never wait, always create. You can ask a question in an instant and you can just be the question even faster.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. 150,000 people die worldwide each day. Man, I was like 250,000 a minute. I was going with that. That's still a lot. Does interesting point of view work? Fuck yes, if you are being it. All right. Susan asked, I'm a walk-in and cleared them, and do they come back? Entities don't hold on to you. You hold on to them. So
for what reason would I want them in my life?
Oh, all kinds of reasons. Don't have to have awareness, don't have to be empowered, don't have to choose and create your life. You get to have a reason and a justification. There's all kinds of things, honey.
All those and above.
Yes. So there you go.
So what the hell? Oh my God. Ugh.
Well,
Okay.
if you were, I mean, consciousness includes you just as you are. Like there's nothing, you're included. The only relevant thing ever with anything that I've discovered is like, is this, I'm included. Okay, cool. Is it working for me? Because humanoids don't change anything till they're bored. And so like, I have to look at that a lot and go, am I bored with this yet? No, I'm still like really enjoying the drama of it all. I'm a drama queen. Listen, I can do drama with the rest of them. So I look at that. I'm like, am I bored yet? No. Okay, well, what would it take to get bored faster? And am I willing to choose anything else yet? No. Okay, cool. I'm included. So that's the only relevant thing is how's it working for me? And not from judgment, but like, how is it working for me? If I'm not changing it, it has tremendous value because I'm not stupid. I keep things around that have value to me. So, it contributes in its way, whatever that is. And that's the important thing to really receive is like, how is this contributing to me that I'm not looking at? Pain is the same. Pain is a huge contributor. Most of the people that I know that have chronic pain, to let it go completely would change their life so radically. It's not even a reality. It would be so different. You would be so different. And you don't even know what that means to let it go. So it's like, so the pain provides this like constant fodder for more. It also drives you forward. And like, I sometimes invent intensity to drive myself forward, which is not my brightest choice, but I do it. So it's like, there's all these things we do that are gifts. We're doing them as a gift to us. It just is insane, but that's fine. Insanity works too. Insanity is also a contribution. So it's just, are you bored yet? If you're not, that's okay. What would it take? You get that your life's going to change radically when your mom dies. That's why I'm keeping her alive. Well, your life's going to change radically, but that's not why you're keeping her alive. That's your justification for it. There is no why. We just choose what we choose because we choose it. Your mom's choosing what she's choosing because she's choosing it.
But I am so bored with my life right now.
No, you're not. You're still judging it. When you're bored, you won't judge anymore.
What? You have said so many things that have just like hit like so home for me.
I just finished facilitating a foundation class. I'm a little bit on fire.
You are. And can I say one other thing? You are so on that so thank you.
You're welcome.
Just thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. Yeah, so don't come to class, anybody, because your life might change. Okay, cool. Cece said, I feel them, but I'm scared of them. I know that they're there, but I'm scared to talk to them. Okay, so guess what fear is, everybody? A distractor implant. What does a distractor implant do? It just puts your attention on something you can't handle, you can't change, you're only going to loop in it, you can't figure it out, and you can't fix it. That's what the whole job of a distractor implant to do. So fear is the distraction from what you're actually capable of. Fear is always a distraction from potency. Always. Which means if you're doing a lot of fear, how potent are you that you haven't wanted to know? And everything that brings up times a godzillion when you destroy it and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, all nine shorts, boys, mans. Do you do fear to take yourself out of presence and choice? And is what you are so undefined that you use fear to distract you from choosing to be it? And everything that is times a godzillion, can we destroy it and create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So it isn't true that you're scared. It is true that you're doing fear. So if it's not true that you're scared, what is true about you that you're not looking at? Miss Cece. Cece, do you want to talk? I see your face.
Hello.
Hi, sweetness.
Hi. All my life I have that feeling that I feel presence in since little one.
Yeah.
And when I was little one, I see shadows, like black shadows and white shadows. And I think I blocked one time because I was very, very scared. I remember I practiced my gymnastics routine and I get so scared. I actually get in shock. My mom has to move me. And since then, I don't see anything, but I know there. I know they there. I feel them, but I'm so terrified to like see them or get it like told to them. Sometimes I'm sleeping or feel so heavy. I have to go to bed, and I hear like somebody like try to talk to me, but I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know how to communicate, and I'm terrified. It's just
okay. So my first question is, have you taken foundation?
No.
Okay, very important. Just so you know, I'm going to put on another foundation in March. It's very, very key. If you ever want to have all of you, foundation is a key. Okay. Second thing is, how new are you to Access? Have you been around for a while?
No, I'm very new. I'm new.
Okay.
New.
Okay. So a lot of what I've said is pretty advanced, just so you know. And if you want to start unraveling this fear thing in your world, there's 2 books that I would just go buy on Amazon.com right away. And that is Living Beyond Distraction. Now, Living Beyond Distraction is probably going to knock you out 1 page at a time. You'll read a page and then you'll need a nap, and you'll read a page and need a nap. But it's got essential information about these distractor implants, okay? And if fear has been a big thing for you, you need it. You need that information. Seriously, it's going to set you free. The second book is Being You, Changing the World. And the third book, and you can do this in any order, is Talk to the Entities. Okay. Now, what's interesting to me is you haven't done a lot of Access, but you're on this call. And that to me, what I wonder about is that, do you have a greater capacity here than you've let yourself have?
Like I don't know, it's been happening sometimes, but I like hear them, like it is actually here.
I know, but you didn't answer my question yet.
No, like, sorry, can you repeat? Like,
yeah, I will.
Spanish, so I sometimes.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. My partner is also Spanish Colombian, so is it possible that you have a greater capacity with unseen beings, entities, than you've ever let yourself know? Is it possible?
Yes.
Okay. That's the beginning. When you start to acknowledge that you have a capacity, then you get more access to the power you have. Right now, you're doing terror. Terror takes you out of being. You can no longer be you when you do terror. But when you go, do you have any small family members, little ones?
Yes.
Okay, hijas running around. If one of them was trapped underneath a vehicle, how strong and how calm would you get immediately? Like if there was an emergency situation, if there's an emergency situation, do you freak out and go into panic, or do you get calm and do whatever's required?
No, I get freaked out and get panic.
You do panic?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then maybe you are afraid.
Yes.
All right. Well, I don't know how far we're going to get with this conversation with you in this little class, but what I'd encourage you to do is do more access, do foundation, do talk to the entities and read those books, because fear isn't real. It's an invention that we do to not be powerful. And it's very, I would also say fear in Latin American cultures, especially around spirits, is very popular. It's also a very popular cultural point of view. Since my partner's father passed away, his family's all Colombian, so they've been, talking a lot. There's more superstition around spirits than there is the willingness to be aware and be with them. And so it's a cultural thing as well, but none of it's real. It's all invented. It just feels real because you've functioned from it for so long, and everyone else in your culture is doing it, for example, or whatever. But fear always takes you out of the power that you are.
I have a powerful dreams, and they show me, my ancestors show me a lot of powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in my dreams, I ask them how I access to that. And they show me, and even ask my mom too, like, we coming from people that mediums or see spirits or something, and she said, no, I don't know anybody, so that's why. But it's something so strong, like I can describe to you. It's very strong.
I understand it.
Very, very, and like I say, I'm scared. Can you please write in for me the books?
So somebody already did. They're in the Zoom chat. I know it looks like you're on your phone, but if you open the chat at the bottom there and take a screenshot, all the titles are there for you. And I think all of those books are in Spanish as well, so you could search them in Spanish. Yeah, I think so.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because I searched for so long.
Yeah.
And like friends send me the link for doing this today. Like it's just like, oh my God.
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. This is just the very, very beginning. And I would really invite you to look closer at the actual classes, because we'll be able to get into so much more of this. Even in the intro class, which is 2 hours, it has much more content but also get those books, because the access books are like gold mines. They're so good. And you can do that now. Okay. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Gracias.
Yeah, de nada. Cool. All right, Alexandra, how do we know if we are housing various entities? Alexandra, are you here? I see your name, but I can talk about it. Yes, I think we're all so happy you found access. I was so happy when I found access. Oh my goodness. All right, how do we know if we're housing various entities? You just ask. I mean, this is actually such a great, awareness is such a superpower, because how do you know anything? You can just ask. Truth, do I have any entities in my body? Yes or no? And if one of those will pop, okay? Now, here's the crazy thing about having entities in your body is that if you ask that question, truth, do I have entities in my body? And you get yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, that's a definite sign. Because everybody in there is chiming in. Yes, no, you don't. Yes, you do. Yes, no, you don't. Yes, you do. No, you don't. So either way, if you ask that question and you get a yes, then you know. And if you ask that question, you get a yes, no, then you know. Okay. And the way to handle that, if you've got entities in your body, is just to clear them. Okay, guys, am I willing to let them go? Yes or no? Yes, I am. Truth, who are you? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Truth, what's your job? Truth, what was your job before that? 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 And truth, who will you be in the future? You can take all your magnetic imprinting and you can go now. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, on the insurance, boys and beyonds. And that's going to handle most of what's going on. And then if you're not sure if they're still there, you just ask. Truth, are they still there? Yes or no? Now, the reason I do truth with a yes, no at the end is because I'm an aggressive liar to myself. So if I don't ask myself questions with a truth and a simple response, I will tend to lie to me. Okay, so that's a very, very aggressively good workaround lying to yourself. And one of the things Gary Douglas has always said to all of us is be brutally honest with you, and lie to everybody else. If you're going to do any lying, lie to everybody else. If you're going to tell the truth to yourself. Let yourself know what's going on, because it's then that you have access to choices, other choices besides the ones that you've had so far. Okay. Asking truth is vital. Susan, what do you mean by who do you listen to? Oh, which one, the yes or the no? Well, listen.
Yeah, all those. Yeah, and
yeah.
You clear them. The answer is you clear them.
You clear them, yeah.
On in my head most of the time.
Well, honey, so let me ask you a question. Do you give up a lot?
Do I give up a lot? Yes.
Okay. So when you're a person who's done a lot of giving up and you kind of do that on a regular basis, sign goes up over your head often that says free body. So you just invite more in. And we can't really get into portals here either. We can in the intro class. So if you guys want more on that, we can talk more about portals there, but that's another possibility. And when you're a portal, you just have a steady stream of beings coming through you. So
I think I might be a portal.
And I think you might be too.
This might be. And I'm willing to like close it.
Cool.
If that's what you do, close it and like.
Well, I'm not going to get into it here. And if you do, I mean, you know where to find me. You know where to get into my classes. But you're welcome. In the beginning class, there's a whole portal. It's in the manual. Like we should tell you exactly how to do it. We go through it. The beginning class is such a wealth. And I mean, even for me, I think I've done like 120 big access classes. I've done 10 COPs and like 18 foundations. And anyway.
I remember you at the ESB, the Transforming ESB, and I know you know which one I'm talking about.
I do. I know who you are very well. Yes.
Because
and I know that class.
It was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. And I only like throw statistics out there because like the beginning Talk to the Entities class is one of the most helpful classes I've ever taken. And the manual is such a gift as well, because you can actually take that manual into the rest of your life. And you have so much more clarity on what kind of entity you're dealing with if you need that kind of clarity. The clearing clears out 80%, but then every once in a while you need a little more clarity on what's going on. You may need to know that it's a smoke entity or a devolved being or, a trickster or prankster entity or a nature spirit or an elemental or part of your team or a light being. There's, this unseen world is as diverse as every natural family of things in nature. So we've got, when you look at bacteria, the bacterium of the world, there isn't just one. There's like a million different kinds of bacteria. And that's just one family of beings. There's not just like one shade of green. There's like, I don't even know how many, 7,000 shades of green, right? Not one kind of tree, but there's a family of trees, all different kinds of varieties. And the same is true of the spirit world. It's that diverse. So again, when you're looking at just handling pain, you You can handle that 80% of everything that shows up as pain in your body by just clearing. And if that's all you get from this and you do that, you're still a gift, because that clearing is a facilitation of beings that are like kind of stuck. They like either didn't know they died or they got trapped in a time loop, and you're like, hey, who are you? And they're like, what? Hey, who were you before that? I wasn't before that. Who were you before that? Oh, who were you before that? Uh-huh. Who were you before that? Shit. Okay. Truth, what's your job? Oh my God. Seriously, have a job? And you had a job before that. And you had a job before that. And you had a job before that. Who will you be in the future? And they're like, bye. Oh, yeah. Hey, will you take your magnetic imprinting? Thanks. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And they take off. Now you guys are the weirdos that are willing to be that gift in the world. Everybody else is just scared. So if all you do is clear, you're still a gift. What would it be like to fully explore it for you? What would it be like to really have and be an artist of a work, a body of work that is so essential to the nutritive quality of our life? Since I've been doing this, I have just experienced so much more well-being. Just that sense of well-being, nurturing, that rooted sensation of having me, being me. And nothing else contributed like that did, like this has. So I want to warmly invite you to whatever class blows your skirt up, whichever facilitator. We've got a bunch of them. Shannon O'Hara is an incredible facilitator. Of course, there's me. There's a bunch of facilitators around the world, but follow this for yourself. What is this for you? What are you being invited to? What gift are you that you haven't yet received the fortune of? And what else is truly possible?
Amazing. Yay. I'm excited.
Me too.
I can't wait.
I'm so glad. For those of you guys that are in Aussie time zones, you can speak with Ashley and get, connect with her and get more details if you need it. If anybody would like a quickie conversation with me to just chat about the class and look at things in your life, whether or not this would be a fit, I'm absolutely available. You can just reach out. And how does it get better than this? Cool.
How does it? And Christel, will you send the link with the recordings and also the class links as well?
Absolutely. Yep. I'll make that super easy for you to say yes.
Awesome. So that is February 18 to 21 North American time, and then February 26th to March 1st Australian time as well. So.
Yes. And I am coming to Mexico with this class as well. Actually, I'm going to be in Puerto Vallarta in May. So if you are, and it's going to be translated into Spanish. So if you are in Mexico or you know people in Mexico, that's coming as well. So lots and lots.
Awesome. Thanks guys for being here.
Thank you guys so much for being. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks.